photographs you get in using my name. You think you broke my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't. And I didn't want to write a song, cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care or don't. But you still hit my phone up, and baby, I'll be moving on.
It's The Drive on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Wednesday afternoon to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner. Beat Rise in the other studio taking your calls at 866-961-1430. 866-961-1430 is the number to call. I got to give a shout out to Andrew. Andrew says, no, Fortnight is not sports. Stop. Scott Nason is on my side, too. I know that for a fact. Did we get that? Did you take care of that? Do we have the music intro? Brian Reed! Brian Reed!
Or was that my actual song right there?
That was it. That was
the Justin Bieber song? Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, guys. I think you got that wrong. But on your previous topic there, I'm surprised. I mean, that's a movie a few years ago that, I just never really got into. I'm not really into zombies that much. And I was always Team Pacey, to be quite honest, in the whole thing. So I don't know this whole Fortnight, wherever the heck you guys were just talking about. I thought that was a few years ago. I guess I'm a little confused.
Scott, it's my show, and I don't even have a clue what the hell they were talking about.
Love it.
Every now and again, Brian just kind of takes over, and it grows, and then people start texting, and people start calling, and Darius shows up, and I have no clue what any of this is, but I'm just happy that you're here, and we can talk about important sporting events like the Masters, Scott Nason.
Absolutely, let's go.
So do you have a favorite right now? Like I was kind of browsing through the tee times, and I have a threesome for tomorrow that I'm really interested in. But what about you? Do you have anyone that you really kind of want to keep an eye on?
Well, I think pretty much obviously everybody is keeping their eye on Tiger Woods to see how he can perform in one of his best tournaments historically that he has done. I mean, I think it's good for golf that Tiger Woods is in contention. I mean, obviously, it gets a lot more people watching, and it's a good story, in my opinion. I always pull for the lefties, just for some reason, because I'm left-handed and I play golf, I might add, very poorly. So, a guy like Bubba Watson, I always like to keep an eye on. I mean, you saw some people making comebacks there last weekend. So, Tiger Woods really is the guy, I think, that a lot of people are watching, and I hope that does well this weekend.
So Tiger tees off at 10:42 tomorrow. He does not have a real good threesome. He's golfing with Tommy Fleetwood and Mark Leishman. I'm always a big believer that if you put me in a group with better golfers, I tend to play better, and I think that kind of goes without saying. The group, Scott, that I'm really interested in is the threesome that tees off at 1:27 in the afternoon. Matt Kuchar, Phil Mickelson, speaking of left-handers, and Ricky Fowler. That's a good threesome. It would not surprise me to see one of those three guys after the first day on top of the leaderboard, just because, again, you kind of play up to the level of your competition. That's some good competition right there.
It really is, and you don't see a threesome at the start of a tournament like this that power-packed, and I would imagine that Tiger's going to get the biggest galleries, but I would imagine that a lot of people are going to be following around that group, and I didn't realize that Nick Fleetwood, I thought he'd be on the Seniors Tour by now, being in the pairing with Tiger Woods. It's been a long time since Fleetwood Mac retired, so I'm very nice to see that he's made a second career in golf.
Yeah, Mick Fleetwood is definitely a decent golfer. There's no doubt about that. I believe Tommy Fleetwood, though, Mick might be caddying for him. I think that's how that one works.
Hey, I don't stop believing either way, Paul, so you know how that goes.
No, I do. Absolutely. It's much like, Jimmy Walker, Kid Dynamite. He's golfing. He's golfing at, I think he tees off at 11:59 with Ross Fisher and Angel Cabrera. So,
wow.
It's all good. So right now, and I don't even know, again, how we got on the Fortnight thing, because I started talking about the Par 3 Challenge, because right now it's on ESPN. I have it on my phone. I'm watching the Par 3 Challenge kind of as we're doing the show. And it's one of those things that I enjoy because it definitely tells you who you can eliminate from contention, because no one that's ever won the Par 3 Challenge has ended up winning the Masters. So you don't see a lot of the big names in this tournament.
No, you really don't. Bubba Watson, I saw him do a pretty neat trick shot there earlier, watching that with his wedge. And,
yes.
It's nice for the families. It's a laid-back atmosphere. You get the kids out there. Everybody's happy. Jack, Nick, all the guys are there. And,
right.
Come tomorrow morning, it turns to serious time because, the Masters is arguably maybe the biggest of the four majors. People in Europe would probably disagree with that, but,
right.
This is one that it's the same holes every year. You know the course. You watch it. It's early April in northern Michigan. You see snow on the ground. You're watching the azaleas or whatever the heck are blooming in Georgia while you're freezing your you-know-what's off up here. But it's a fun tournament. It's my favorite of the four majors. And, those final 2 days, I'll be glued to my television watching hopefully some pretty good golf.
Yeah, indeed. There's no doubt about that. Before I let you go, any thoughts on the NCAA championship? I figure I'll give you carte blanche here. Go ahead.
Well, it's unfortunate that Jim Harbaugh got into the locker room and gave Michigan the pregame talk. I'm surprised that Beeline didn't just, shoo him out. I mean, it's the closest that Jim's been to the big game in a very, very, very long time at the University of Michigan. But in all seriousness, Villanova's good. I mean, they beat every team by double digits. They had a tougher road to the Final Four, and to me, it just seemed like Michigan was happy to be there. They didn't have that drive. They didn't have that intensity that maybe you might have expected. But you know what? 33 wins, the most in their school's history. They're going to lose some players, obviously, as everybody does. But Michigan fans have nothing to hang their hats about, or hang their heads about, rather. It was a tough end, but a very impressive run, winning the Big Ten, beating an overrated Michigan State team, I might add, Paul, twice. And, disappointing end, but they really have nothing to be ashamed about. Villanova's good.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, the fact that, I really, truly believe that you could maybe put together an all-star squad from one of the regions, and Villanova would play with them. Like, they're that good. And the thing is, what's really scary about Villanova is if you look at their roster, as long as nobody decides to declare early, they're all coming back. The only senior on that squad is a dude that I'm pretty sure was the equipment manager that they just kind of gave a jersey to and were like, you sit at the end of the bench, and if we win,
the hype man. You're the hype man.
You're the hype man
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
it.
Get everybody excited.
That's it. Like, and that's all they're losing if everybody decides to come back, which, I mean, if you're sitting in that locker room right now, Scott, and as a team, you guys kind of look at each other and you go, hey,
we got some good.
Yeah, we can do something very special here. Let's all come back. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of goes against the grain of what college basketball is right now with, people playing 1 year, maybe two, going to the NBA draft. I like it. I think it's a good story. I do think that the NCAA, though, needs to look at what the NIT did as kind of they switched up some rules during it, and they did the 4 quarters, which I like because the fouls reset after 5, after the end of the quarter, and you got to move back the three-point line a little bit more. Put it to where the international three-point line is. I don't think the game was designed to have that many three-pointers, and so I really think they need to look at that, as well as widening the lane maybe to 16 feet to go along with what the NBA is. I like what the NIT did. Hope the NCAA will take notice, and follow suit here in the next year or so.
Did you guys do a new episode of the game last night?
We did.
All right.
Talked about the NCAA Basketball Tournament as well with other related topics, including the great weather we've had in Michigan for opening week of baseball. Boy, the Tigers, they have had, I think, 3 of their games postponed, and you can find it at the GameSportsShow.podbean.com.
Don't get me started on the baseball scheduling. I've 2 years in a row now I've railed on that, and apparently Major League Baseball is not listening to me. Maybe it's because we talk about Fortnight during the first segment. I'm not sure. Just out of curiosity, Scott Nason, do you own a video game system? If so, what video game system? And will you buy Fortnight and play against Brian Reed at some point in the near future?
Well, to answer your question, I have many video game systems, including the Atari 2600.
Yes!
Old school there. Xbox One, my oldest son is all about Fortnite. Luckily, he only has the free version, but he is online playing it. and absolutely loved it.
Well, what you need to do is message Brian his username, and he and Brian can 40 days and 40 nights in the desert together, or whatever it is that they do in the game. 14 nights. I
we have a snow day up here, Paul, so I needed my son to have something to do today.
There you go. Scott Nason, as always, man, thank you so much for doing this. Look forward to chatting with you again next week. Actually, no, we're chatting with you on Friday.
WrestleMania, baby, Friday, I'm there.
Yes, indeed. Scott will join us on Friday for a little WrestleMania talk. I will talk to you real soon. Take care, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Scott. Scott Nason, there you go. We'll be right back. It's The Drive.
ESPN Blacksburg, 93.1, 97.1.